Hello students, today we are going to discuss about operator precedence grammar. The objective of today's class is to understand the algorithm of operator precedence grammar. Coming to the definition of operator precedence grammar, it is one of the grammar which is accepted by bottom-up parsing and it accepts ambiguous grammars. Other grammars which are under bottom-up parsing, they don't accept ambiguous grammars. This is the only grammar which is going to accept even unambiguous. It is the only one which accepts ambiguous grammars. The rules for a production to be accepted by an operator precedence grammar are, there are two rules. One is no epsilon on RHS side of the production. Second one is no two variables or non-terminals should be adjacent to each other on RHS side of the production. Let us understand this rule with the help of an example. We have the production E produces E plus E, E star E and ID. Now here we have two variables E and E. These two are not adjacent to each other. In between we have an operator. Okay, so this is called as an operator precedence grammar. And as well as if you see on the right side, there are three productions in which none of them is epsilon. So it is satisfying the first condition also. So epsilon is not present on RHS and no two variables on RHS of production are adjacent. Hence this given grammar is operator precedence grammar. Let us see one more example. Now this production says this E produces EAE by or ID. Now there are three variables. If you consider the right side production, E, capital E and capital A, these two variables are adjacent to each other. Similarly, capital E, these two variables are adjacent to each other. Okay, since two variables are adjacent to each other, we say that this is not an operator precedence grammar. This type of production is not accepted as operator precedence grammar. Okay, so coming to the first rule, there is no epsilon. Okay, so that is satisfying, this production is satisfying the first rule, but it is not satisfying the second rule, so it is not operator precedence grammar. Similarly, if we look at this next example, we have E produces E1 plus E2 or epsilon. So in this, the first rule, according to the first rule, we have epsilon on the RHS side which is not accepted. Okay, and according to the second rule, E1 and E2 are not adjacent to each other, they are separated by an operator. So it is satisfying the second rule, but it is not satisfying the first rule. Hence, this is also not accepted as operator precedence grammar. Now coming to the problem, the question that will be asked in the operator precedence grammar will be as follows. Generate the parse tree for the following input string ID plus ID star ID. This is the input string. Using the operator precedence table or algorithm, we have to generate parse tree for this given input string and using the given production rules. The production rules which are given are T produces T plus T or T star T or ID. So coming to the logical operation of this operator precedence parser is, we have an operator parser, that is algorithm will work on this operator parser section and it accepts the input string. The input string here is ID plus ID star ID. This is our input string. And we have the operator grammar which is also given in the question. Now this is the operator grammar T plus T, T star T and ID. So these two will be taken by operator parser and algorithm is implemented and then finally we get the parse tree. Now what are the steps in order to generate this parse tree? First thing is we have to check whether the given production which is given here, that is satisfying the two rules of operator precedence or not. That is our first step. Second step is construct operator precedence relation table. Third one, we have to parse a given input string to this operator parser using the algorithm of this operator precedence parser. And finally, we have to generate the parse tree. That is our fourth step. So starting with the first step, here we have to check whether the given production is operator precedence grammar or not. So if we check the first rule, in the right side of the production, we have to always check only right side. So there is no epsilon according to the first rule. So this is satisfying the first rule of operator precedence. Similarly, if you check the second rule, no two non-terminals. We have T plus T, T star T and ID. There are no two variables are adjacent to each other. So this is satisfying both the first and second rule. Hence it is operator precedence grammar. So this is about the first rule. So coming to the second step, we have to construct operator precedence relation table. Now how to construct this? We have to go to the productions which are given to us. The productions which are given are T plus T, T star T and ID. In this we have to identify what are the terminals. We have three terminals, plus, star and ID. So we have to write those terminals. By default we have to add a dollar symbol in this operator precedence relation table. Similarly, write down the same terminals in the row wise also. So in column we have the plus, star, ID and dollar. Same terminals are repeated in the row wise here. And coming to this operator precedence, so here plus and minus, they follow the right associate. They follow the left associative rule here. So here each and every precedence relation is indicated using this less than or greater than symbol with a dot in between. So if you consider, this will be considered, this place is, the row place is considered as leftmost operator and right place, the column place is considered as rightmost. This is the left side and this is the right side. So left side is always greater than the right side plus, okay, whether it is any type of arithmetic operator. So that's why we are writing it as greater than, and plus is having less preference when compared to the star, that is multiplication operator. So we have less than symbol with the dot. Whenever different operators are there like plus and star, we check the precedence relation, okay, that is which is having higher precedence. And whenever we have the same types of operators, same type of symbols are there, we go for checking the left or right associative instead of precedence. So that is the procedure how we fill up this table. Then plus and ID is there. Here both are different symbols. We have to check the precedence among plus and ID. ID has the topmost preference when compared to the remaining symbols. So plus is less than ID, so it is less than and dot. And the next one is dollar. Dollar is always smaller than the remaining variables. So plus is greater than dollar. Always we have to check the row with the column. Okay, so plus is checked with all these four columns. Then coming to the next line, star and plus both are different operators. Now check the precedence operation. Star is having greater precedence than plus, so star is greater than plus. Star and star is there, both are same symbols. Now we don't check the precedence, we check the associative rule. According to the arithmetic associative rules, all the arithmetic operations, they follow left associative. That means leftmost operator will have the highest preference. So this star is left and this star is right. So this is having the highest preference than star. This is greater than this. So we write a greater than symbol. And when compare star with ID, ID is always greater than the remaining variables. Okay. So this star will be less than this. So this is less than symbol. And all the variables will be greater than dollar, or dollar will have the least preference here. So star is greater than dollar symbol. Okay. So again coming to the third row, here we check ID with the remaining four. ID will be always greater than the remaining symbols. So this is greater than plus, greater than star, and when ID comes, we there will be no comparison. We just keep a hyphen symbol here, and here we ID is greater than dollar. So this is greater than symbol, and dollar is always less than the remaining variables. So in the fourth row we write less than symbol, and when dollar occurs, here we normally take the accept condition. Okay, there will be two possibilities here. We will check when we do the parsing table. So here always this will be blank. So either here we have the greater than symbol or we have accept state. So two possibilities are there here. So depending upon the parsing table, we choose one of them. So normally we keep this as blank. Okay. Then step 3 is construct the parsing table. So this is how we construct the parsing table here. Okay. And based upon these rules, we construct the parsing table T plus T, T star T and ID. So coming to the first one, this is how we write the parsing table. We have the stack, then we have the relation, then we have the input string, and then we also specify what are the actions we are doing in order to push the input string onto the stack. Initially, stack will be having dollar as the default symbol. Okay, it is same like the push down automata. Dollar will be on top of the stack. Okay, we already done in TOC. So here dollar will be there. It is just a form of a push down automata. Dollar will be on topmost symbol. So initially we take id plus id star id, and here we always compare the elements which are on top of the stack. We always compare the terminals which are in the stack with the input string. We never compare the non terminals in the stack to the input string. So initially it will be dollar and this is the string. Then compare dollar with id. Dollar is a terminal here. Dollar is always less than the remaining variables. So dollar is less than id. So whenever less than symbol is there, we are going to use shift operation. Shift id we are writing. So id is pushed onto the stack. So dollar will go down in the stack and you will get the id on topmost symbol. So it will be like this. Initially we have the dollar symbol in the stack. When we push id, we get id, and below this we got the dollar. This will be our second step when we try to shift it. Now again we check the terminal. Now which is the topmost element in the stack, that we have to check id and plus we have to check now. id is always greater than remaining symbols. So whenever we have greater than symbol, we have to reduce. So we are writing reduce t produces id. Okay, so since we have a production which is given in the question, okay, among the three productions which are given, t plus t star t and id, this is satisfying. So we are writing reduce t produces id. Then we go for comparison of the t with the topmost symbol is now in the stack. When id is reduced, here we get dollar and t. Now we have to compare a variable t with plus, but in operator precedence we never compare the non-terminal with the plus operator. We always have to compare the terminals only. So among these two, this will be the terminal value. Now we compare dollar with the plus. Dollar is always less than the any symbol, so this is less. Whenever we get less, we always shift the terminals in the input string onto the stack. So shift plus, here we write shift plus action is done and it is shifted. It is t plus. Now in the stack we have like this. So it is dollar and it is t. Upon this we have the plus. So this is the status of stack now. So t plus and id star id will be there. Compare plus and t, topmost symbol plus and id. Plus is less than id. So whenever less than symbol is there, we shift this id. Okay, so shift id. Now again compare topmost symbol id. Okay, now here upon plus, now we have id when we shift id. Now compare the topmost element in the stack, that is id with star. Id is greater than star. So greater than symbol is there, we have to reduce the terminal which is present in the stack to non-terminal. Convert the terminal to non-terminal or variable. So again we use the same production, reduce t produces id, we get t plus t. Okay, so now again we have in this way. Now id is replaced with capital T. Topmost symbol is capital T now. Now topmost symbol we have to compare with the remaining input string. I cannot compare t with star. Okay, so what we need to do, because t is a non-terminal, we should not compare with the terminal. So the next from the topmost, if you see the next symbol which is there in the stack, the terminal is plus. Okay, among plus and dollar we have to take the topmost terminal value. So plus is on top of the dollar. So now we are going to compare plus with the star. So here plus with the star, plus is less than star, so shift star here. So again we have done shifting operation. Again check star with id, star is less than id, shift again id, and again compare id with dollar. Id is greater than dollar, that means we have to reduce id. Now what is the production for the replacement of id? It is t produces id. So we are writing t greater than dollar. Now again compare here. Now what is the status of the stack here? The status of the stack for this step is, here we have dollar, t plus t, and upon this we have star, upon this we have t. This is the status of the stack. Now because since this t is there, we cannot compare, we need to go for the next topmost symbol, that is star is our topmost terminal value. Among star, plus and dollar, among these three, star is the topmost. So we have to take the topmost terminal. So star is compared with dollar now. So when you compare star with dollar, this is star is less than dollar and star is greater than dollar. But when it is greater than dollar, what does it mean? You have to convert a particular variable, that is a particular terminal, into a non-terminal. For star there is no non-terminal. See, in the question we don't have anything like T produces star. I cannot replace star with any of them. Okay, star is not available in a single terminal type like ID. So what is the alternative for this? Star is associated with two non-terminals. So instead of taking single star, I should take T star T. So I cannot reduce capital T or star to one non-terminal. So take complete T star T. Now what we are doing, we are completely taking this as one variable. T star T, this is completely taken. So I want to reduce T star T. So if I want to reduce T star T, I have to check the remaining terminal values which are present in the stack. I should compare those values with the dollar. So here I have two terminals, plus and dollar. Among these two, plus is topmost symbol. So compare plus with dollar. So when we compare plus with dollar here, plus is greater than dollar. So greater than means I have to reduce. So reduce what? Reduce T produces T star T. So this complete T star T is reduced to this T. So now I get dollar T plus T. So what is the status in the stack now? I have T plus T dollar. Now this is the status in the stack. Now the topmost symbol is again plus T. Variable T cannot be compared with dollar. I should go with plus. Plus is greater than dollar. Even if I can't replace plus directly with any non-terminal. Now what is the other protection which is given in the question? When plus is there, plus is associated with T plus T. Now I have to check whether there is any T plus T. Yes, there is a T plus T. That means now I have to consider this whole thing as one non-terminal, as one variable. Okay, let us consider it as a capital letter A, B, C or something. Okay, one variable, and I have to reduce this complete thing. When I am considering this as one variable, I should check the remaining terminals in this. So what is the only remaining terminal here? Dollar. So now compare dollar with dollar. When dollar with dollar is there and some right side production is there. See, this T plus T is not the parent variable. If you see in the question, T plus T, T star T or ID, if I get anything like these are right side productions. Okay, I want to get actually the parent node capital T. So in this case, when some production is there which is related to the right side production, this is not the parent variable. So in this case, what we have to do is when dollar is there, I need to compare them and I should take it as left associative, that is dollar is greater than this dollar. Like we have seen here, we have the associative rules like left plus is greater than right plus. Similarly here, left dollar is greater than right dollar. So here in this case, now we take greater than symbol. There are two options here, either we can take greater than or accept. In this case, this is not the parent node, so I should take the greater than symbol. So reduce complete T plus T with the production capital T. Now I got capital T. Now what is capital T? Is it right side production or parent node or parent variable? Capital T is a parent variable. So what is our aim of this operator precedence table? Our aim is to generate the parent variable for the given input string. So finally we got the capital T, which is a parent variable. So here dollar $T I got. So once we get the parent node, now then there is no need to compare the dollar which is in the input string. Okay, no need to compare this dollar and this dollar once we get the parent. So here what we do, we write accept. When anything is there other than parent node, for this dollar and dollar like this, we use greater than symbol. When we get the parent variable, we don't write greater than symbol. We don't compare this dollar and this dollar because our aim is to finally get this capital T. So once we get this capital T, that is parent variable, we will stop the comparison and we will write it as accept. And this is the way how we find out what are the productions which can be used in order to generate this parent variable from the given input string ID plus ID star ID. Okay. So the last step for this is we have to generate the parse tree. Now how to generate the parse tree here? So here we have the last one. So generating the parse tree is simple here. So here we go with the reduce operations. Wherever reduce is there, from that we will start generating the parse trees. see here we have reduce. What is from the last we are going to start reduce T produces. So wherever reduce operations are there, by using these reduce operations we are going to generate the parse tree. So first reduce operation is reduce T produces T plus T. Okay, so write down T produces T plus T. Okay, so only check the reduce operations, don't check the remaining actions. Okay, don't consider the shift action. Then so let me show the productions also. So this is what we have. So under this here we have T produces T plus T that we have written. Again go for this reduce operation. Here what we have, T plus T is there. Under this first T plus is as it is, next T is considered into T star T. Okay, so second T is written as T star T. Then go for the next one, T produces ID. So which T among these three, which T is producing ID? The last T. So that is the third T. So at the third T we write ID. Then the next reduce operation is this. This is what, again T reduces ID. So this is related to which one? If you go like this on the top, now this is related to second T. Why it is second T? Why? Because after plus, what is the T that is present? That is second T. Okay, after T plus we have ID. So that is related to plus, after plus whatever is it, that is second T. So second T below we are going to write ID. Then the next is reduce operation, reduces T produces ID. So what is this one? T produces ID. Where is this T produced from? It is from T plus. So this total T plus is this T is taken from this first T, that is T plus. So that T is reduced to ID. Then we will write this as ID. So in this way we will generate the parse tree. So generation of the parse tree is simple. We have to just find out the reduce operations. Okay, and if there is still any confusion, we can just go on seeing the productions also. Okay, from the reverse manner, from the bottom row to the top row we can check and we can draw the parse tree. So this completes our problem, and the outcome is students will be able to identify whether a given production is operator precedence or not, and will be able to construct the related parse tree. Thank you.